and welcome to the show. We start this week's Failrace episode with T18 on GTA 5, trying to shoot at their friend, as you do, you know, in a free roam session. Fairly normal, you mess about, and all of that kind of thing. However, the police do not like this, and, well, the Failrace Police Department have a new ability. The helicopter spawning in is one thing. Where the car came from is a whole nother story. You don't quite know how that's got there. In good condition as well. Now up next, this is from the Bulldog session. This was before we started filming. We were doing a little bit of an experiment. Could you hit each other with guns while in the air? The answer was no, you couldn't. But in doing the test, I managed to, well, execute Ewan. I say completely by accident. The idea was to get flung up in the air by the Chernobog and to hit each other with the guns just to see what the game would do, and it doesn't really let you do that. However, as we were spamming the trigger trying to fire, my character starts flailing, and the first shot of the first attempt ends up shooting you. I mean, the goal was to try, I say, to kill each other. We successfully killed you, and just not in the way we expected, and not in a way we could ever do again. Ariel up next on Cyberpunk is driving around with a big old truck. Now these slip roads on Cyberpunk, there's a few of them are just notoriously dangerous. Very steeply downhill, and this one claims another victim. Gets a huge amount of speed after the bounce. It almost lands upside down on another car. Sadly, it just kind of rolls off. I was hoping for an upside down car hat, but no. Still has a lot of speed picked up from a bounce. Lofty McBob is also on Cyberpunk. They are driving around on a motorbike when they don't quite realise there's a sort of central reservation going to overtake this car, get a bit of airtime, smack off the wall, and wedge the bike. It's not a particularly big gap, and if you were in a car, you probably would have got launched into the air in the first place. Of all the places the bike could have ended up, it's the one place where it can't get out. Luckily for the player, when they get off the bike, they don't just fall to the ground. They do get, I guess, spawned on the road. But, yeah, I guess you're going to be walking now to the next quest, as your bike is very wedged. Crowding back on Watch Dogs Legion. I mean, the car's seen better days already. It's very, very poorly. But they are driving around. They find the special and rare trap bollard. Yes, you can drive through it, but once you are on the other side, you are stuck. In this case, stuck between the bollard and it's like a market stall. The wheels just high enough off the ground. It's just I don't think any of the wheels are actually touching the ground with this one. No real loss, though. That car, yeah, probably not going much further anyway. RC Cookie is up next on Euro Truck Simulator. Now, they were wobbling about seeing if the truck would fall over. We've all done that when you've started playing this game. What they didn't realise, I didn't realise this either, is you need to rest on Euro Truck Simulator, and if you don't go to a rest stop, well, you can actually fall asleep at the wheel. You probably don't want to fall asleep while trying to see how far the truck can go up onto its side, because, well, you might wake up and the truck be, well, on its side. Yeah. I having played a fair bit of Euro Truck Simulator, also genuinely didn't know you could technically sort of fall asleep in this. Yet don't drive tired. There is a very good example for you right there. Alex up next on Automa Corsa. This is at Macau with some touring cars. I don't know if it's AI or player initiated this crash. I don't know I don't know exactly how it started. What I do know is cars have fallen over and wheels have got weird. I don't know why wheels do this sometimes. They just every so often forget how to wheel. And that's not the only one either with the whole forgetting how to wheel. W Meltfire, also on Automa Corsa. I don't know what track this is. I don't recognise it. I'm sure somebody will in the comments. But they are trying to get around the circuit with the Zonda, and just too much speed into a corner leads to one bounce and then one even bigger bounce. I mean, this is a serious bounce now. Not sure how fast we're going. The answer is a lot, and it gets too much for the game to handle, and it gets reset. Because that's what happens normally in Automa Corsa. So yeah, everything going fairly normal with the Zonda. I mean, they get a little bit of a slide coming out of this corner, nicely held, but just, it's easy. It's easy when you're learning a circuit. You just overrun a braking zone sometimes, which is what happens here. The tyre bundle is extra bouncy. I mean, that's silly enough, as it gets fired a long way, and then off we go. There's a couple of frames of how skewed the wheels are, but it's just gone. It is gone. It has gone a long, long way before it gets reset. Yeah, if it didn't get reset to the garage, who knows? It'd probably still be flying to this day. That Mudkipper's next on Automa Blister with some oval racing trucks that have had enough of physics, really. I don't know who's filled the trucks with helium, but the second they start having a crash, everything just got incredibly weird. I'm used to seeing this. It's just a weird one through here. Yeah, everything looking fairly normal. A 3 wide just doesn't quite work through this section. The truck on the outside gets squeezed to the wall, but the second it bounces off the wall, it just flies. It doesn't even really bounce that hard. I think it's hit from something else and does a backflip, and a few other vehicles ping around. Yeah, it is the second things start going wrong for these trucks. They whatever reason, want to go and do a backflip. But I mean, it's caused a big mess for this field. This is on board with the truck further back here. One of the vehicles teleports itself when it goes, I guess it's either out of bounds or too far. One way or another gets teleported. This one here actually gets away with a relatively sane crash, considering what was going on in this. The red truck has a bit more of a weird time as the truck flies back, because this is another one that goes to the very floaty, lazy backflip, and then it just bounces around an awful lot on landing. The front just doesn't want to settle at all. It's a bit of an odd one. And finally, we are on, again, I've never heard of this game, Derail Valley. Now, they are trying to run a steam engine. I don't know what any of these levers are doing, but presumably it's all quite in-depth, and they're very busy being focused on making the train run. The problem is, they're not looking where they're going. Now, when you're not looking where you're going, you might crash in to something, and in this case, they crash into some fuel tankers. And oh, there's so many fuel tankers in this particular area. It looks like an apocalypse film. Everything is on fire down here. They've created the this huge chain reaction of explosions. I guess like a free cam or whatever fly around. It's got even further. Yeah. I've seen some explosion chains often happen on GTA. GTA 5, there were these explosion chains where cars just kept sort of spawning in, and it's got worse and worse. This is one of the most impressive I've ever seen. And it's all just, you just look where you're going. Look where you're going with your trains. It's mighty impressive. But there we go. That is going to be it for this episode. As ever, if you have clips you'd like to submit to this series, you can via a Google form. There'll be a link to it in the description. All the rules and how it works can be found on there. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.